Hello, I'm James Helder. Welcome to the next episode of the World Cup show here on Pitch Football. I'm joined by some esteemed fans from across the country. Fellas, great to have you with me. How are we all?
Good, James, all good.
Yeah, like that. Initially, let's start at Saudi Arabia's shock win over Argentina. Massive result. Massive result. El Dazari's goal will live in the folklore of World Cup exploits for years to come. Let's go straight in on that game. Firstly, Joe, what did you make of the result and the match itself?
Very entertaining game. It's all about football. Shocking result. You can never guarantee a result in football because anybody can win in a game, especially your first game, what you don't want to lose. But Argentina, I think they expect the game a lot easier than expected, especially with the first half, with the results and the way it was going for them. It was nice and easy at the very beginning with Messi scoring it within 10 minutes of the game. And then I think he just sat back and not realised that Saudi Arabia have come out and now they've done what they've done, especially with the goals and that they scored the 2 goals. But it's a massive shock. But I think that's the joy of football. You can't guarantee anything, but you can't rule out Argentina now even losing this first game, because Spain have proven it that losing your first game doesn't mean you can't win the World Cup. They still are one of the favourites, but it's going to be entertaining to see what's going to happen going forward. Argentina, I do think they'll step up the next game because they've got to win now, so it will be entertaining.
Now, shock results are what it's all about for the World Cup. When Messi scored that penalty, it looked like Argentina were going to be in business. You've got to credit the way Saudi Arabia played, the way the defence, the back line, with Argentina having 3 goals ruled offside as well. Yeah. Fantastic play. John, what did you make of it?
The game was a good game to watch. It was interesting, man. It was Saudi Arabia had a lot of energy. They never gave up. Argentina, the same as Joe said, they kind of felt as if had to turn up and just get the result. Do you know what I mean? But that's what the World Cup's about, though. It's like the FA Cup in England and Scotland as well. You always want the upsets. If all the big teams are smashing all the wee teams, it's not really much fun. Do you know what I mean? That's what I liked about it.
Shivs.
Yo.
Before we move any further, let me ask you a little bit about the Saudi Arabia win over Argentina. What do you make of that?
Brilliant. That's what football's all about. You know what I mean? Teams like Saudi Arabia are getting some. Now they have a national holiday off of them beating Messi's team, because a lot of people regard Messi as one of the GOATs, but again, doesn't deliver on the international stage. So how can you consider this guy one of the GOATs? He's not up there with the original Ronaldo, the Rivaldos, Ronaldinhos and so forth, in my opinion. But we move. It was a good result for Saudi Arabia. The way that they came back from 1-0 down. Was that a penalty? Controversial decision as well. Some were saying that wasn't a penalty. Some were saying it was a penalty. So I think the right team got the result, to be honest.
Yeah, I absolutely loved the game. Like I said already, I loved the intensity in which they defended. I loved everything about it. I thought it epitomises what the World Cup is, and it's a great game for the neutral fans like us. Let's come away from that game. Let's look at France's win over Australia. Big win for France. Got the ball rolling for Les Bleus. I'm going to go straight to Johnny on this one. What did you make of the game?
James, I loved it. It was really good. Mbappe was amazing. Giroud was good as well, obviously, by an ex-Arsenal guy there. Do you know what I mean? I liked it. Don't get me wrong, Australia are not the strongest team in the world. Do you know what I mean? But I like France. I think they look really good. I think they're favourite. I think they're definitely up there to win it after seeing that. But again, don't like you too excited because it's Australia. But I was really impressed. I thought it was a really good game to watch.
You mentioned Giroud. You look a bit of a ringer for Giroud at the minute, Johnny. I'm not going to lie. You got a hint of Giroud about you.
I wish I had his bank account, mate, honestly.
Two goals for Giroud to take him up to 51 goals, equal with Thierry Henry for goals. Considering Giroud didn't get his first cap till he was 25, and in the last World Cup he played 40 minutes. So it's quite an unbelievable stat from Giroud. Stat padded,
Underrated.
or do you
Underrated,
think Giroud,
James. Underrated, man. Big time.
you think Giroud is generally underrated, Johnny?
Overall, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not an Henri, right? We know that, right? He's a bit of a hot and cold player, but at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. He has scored the goals and he has been effective. So, but again, I don't know what it is. He's not getting the credit. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely a great team player to have in the squad, isn't he? He does so much that's underrated. He's going to win so many headers, and he contributes with his fair share of goals. Joe, what's your thoughts on France so far? Give us your take on it.
Yeah, France again. With Giroud, they're doing the records with Henry, brilliant achievements, like what you just mentioned there, not starting until he was 25 and then doing what he's done. He's a fox in the box, isn't he? He scores the goals, he does what he's meant to do, and that's what you're asking of a striker, in all honesty. He's not a fancy, nothing too showboaty or nothing like that, but if you want a striker to score, he's one of your top 5 at this present moment. You'd have really, especially with, you'd have confidence because what's happened to Benzema, because with him getting the injury, he's known he's got more of a chance to play now. Now that's given him confidence now to hit Thierry Henry's records. Now when you've got that in your mind, you've got the players around you like Mbappe and stuff like that, it's just, you know, something, you're going to get them chances, what you want to create them goals and score them goals. So at the moment, France again, there's a few good teams at the moment. France showing they're capable of scoring goals, taking teams apart. And he played with like a front 4 as well. They've got 4 strikers when you look at it. It's Griezmann, it's Benzema, it's Giroud, and Mbappe. And you think, wow, they are, when they're on the game, the 4 of them alone are top strikers. So when they're gelling together, it is a good combination to have with the 4, because anyone can do what they can do.
You make some interesting points there, Joe, especially with the injuries for France already. We know Karim Benzema's injured. We saw that Lucas Hernandez, with his Achilles injury now, is ruled out the World Cup. So it could play its part. Giroud, again, could turn out to be one of the most important players in the World Cup, certainly from where France are concerned and getting in goals. Yeah. You have anything you want to add on the France game? Anything that comes to mind for you, mate? What's your thoughts?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, job done, to be honest. Australia, you know, of course you expect France to go and get the job done, you know, throw them under the bus. Quick, easy 3 points. I'm a bit confused as, like, what's going on with this World Cup? You're not really getting any really tough games for all the favourites at the moment. It's like they're all being thrown in with these bogey teams, and if these bogey teams manage to get a big win, great, but otherwise, it seems Qatar's more heading toward the bigger teams being in the quarterfinals, semi-finals, final, etc. That's how it looks shaped up to me at the moment.
You mentioned that, but the next game's one of the biggest upsets I can think of. It goes up there. It's up there almost with Argentina's defeat to Saudi Arabia, and that's Japan beating Germany. It's such a big win for Japan. If you look at it on paper, Japan didn't probably have much of a chance of winning that game. It's a big result, lads. It's a big win. Germany, again, probably one of the favourites, I'd say, coming into the tournament. What do we make of Japan's win over Germany?
In my opinion, can you really, in the last 10 years, can you say Germany is a favourite coming into this competition? Are we going off of history, or are we going off of the current climate of the German football team? Because it's really maybe within the last 4 years that now they're making a resurgence. So really, Germany's just now coming back in as one of the strong favourites, really. So I wasn't really surprised for Japan to beat them. Japan has been slowly and steadily been developing their league, developing their players. So if anything, it's great on a national scale for Japan and their football, and showing what they can do on an international level at a big competition like the World Cup. More eyes on it than anywhere else right now. So I think, it wasn't a shock to me to see Japan beat Germany. That's my opinion.
I'm all for that. What's your opinion on it, Joe? What did you make of Japan's win over Germany?
Great upset. Germany again. I think there was the conversation going around with the armband, and they were more concerned about getting that taken off them, because there was rumoured that Neuer was starting with a yellow card before it, and then that's why they ended up covering them up, because they got told you can't wear your armbands.
Yes.
So I think they were more concerned about that. Again, have they thought the game's going to be a lot easier? But you know, Japan, in the last World Cup or the World Cup before, they got to like the quarterfinals or nearly around there. Then they got beat by Spain, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. So they're a nation what pulled together. But with the Germans, they're like a team in competitions like this. This is where they pull together and they rise above what they're expected to do, because up to the run-ups, they usually like giving like results away. But when the competition comes and turns up, they turn up. So it's surprising, but I'm surprised anyway by the result. But again, you've got to be concentrated on the 90 minutes, because if your mind's somewhere else and you're thinking about what's been going on, and you've got your own right to do what you want to do and free of speech and stuff like that. If that plays a part of it, it's played a part for them to lose the game, I believe. And then again, the two teams what have lost, which was Argentina and Germany, they're both winning 1-0.
I'm glad you mentioned about the armband. It's quite an interesting bone of contention.
Yeah.
Germany have been pro armband, haven't they? They've been one of the major teams that have been behind it all the way through. Incidentally, their captain wore the armband underneath his kit. We saw the pictures of that. It's quite interesting. And boys, where do you stand on it? Do you think politics should be left out of football? Do you think it should be used as a platform for positivity? What's your take on it? I'm going to go straight to Johnny on this one.
James, I'm a wee bit old school. Like, when I was brought up, we just watched football for football, boxing for boxing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think religion or politics should come into sport. I feel as if, because it takes away from everybody coming together and just enjoying the game for what it is. It feels as if all these other symbols can kind of come in and you forget about. I don't know. I personally, because you see up in Glasgow where I'm from, like, it's the terrorism, it's Celtic Rangers, and it's the Queen, or it's all this stuff that I've been brought up with. So I'd rather just all that stuff out the game and just be about the sport personally. But I know it's not the way it is nowadays, but that's the way I would like to see it.
Mm-hmm. Shiv, what's your take on it? Where do you stand on politics and football and the whole armband take?
Politics has always been involved in football, as far as I'm concerned. If you're gonna have organizations like kick racism out of football, so on and so forth, if you're gonna go to a country that gets the World Cup, it's their rules. You see, if you abide by the rules and still want to participate and honor the rules that they've laid out, or just don't go. It's that simple. But it's all a bit performative, if you ask me, because they're all still over there, all still earning a ton of money, but they're all on TV complaining about it. You don't have to be there. You can get on a plane and go home if it's that much of a big deal. It's literally 4 weeks. All you have to do is abide by the rules that Qatar has set and keep it moving. It's obviously for religious reasons and for whatever else. That's how they want things operating in their country. So it's either you just go there, do what you need to do, and keep it moving. That's how I see it anyway, to be honest. I don't really see what all this... Who cares about what's wearing a colourful armband going to do for that community in a game of 90 minutes or maybe 120 minutes to then penalties? Really, realistically, it's not doing anything, really. You see what I'm saying? So it's all whatever, really.
Now, coming back to the football, in Germany's group, Spain also beat Costa Rica 7-0. Huge implications for Germany. If they were to lose to Spain and the way things are playing out with the other teams in the group, Japan in particular, they could be possibly on their way home. Big milestone knocked across for the German team. Let's come off them. Let's talk about Spain a little bit. Fantastic form. I know Gabby's got a lot of the praise, but they look like a squad. Some mature heads in there, as well as a mix of youth. They look good. I'm not going to lie. They look decent. I'm going to come straight to Joe on this. What's your thoughts of the Spain squad, mate? The Spain game, rather.
Yeah, impressed with Spain. Very, very good side. Young, like you said, they've got a bit of experience in the squad. They've done a statement we're leaving Thiago out, I believe, because I thought like him having that experience, but the more experienced players, the young players are lighting it up. It's like the new Xavi and Iniesta. You're looking at this young generation coming through. They're not scared to let them play as well. I was excited. They're the team who will look. I think they've been a shine so far, but they never had anything against them. So you never seen the defensive side because the keeper had nothing to do. The defense had nothing to do. In all honesty, so it's just about now seeing, like you said, this Germany next game, who can take this next 3 points. Germany needs to win, so they've got to go for it. But that suits Spain now, so it's going to be very interesting.
Johnny, what did you make of Spain? Give me your reaction to the Spain game.
And I'm happy with
Games, I only seen the highlights, so I never really see the live game, but obviously it's a massive result. I know Costa Rica went up too much, looking at the stats and stuff, but Spain are always going to be there and thereabouts. They're a favourite, you know, so it's a lot of players I don't really recognise because a lot of young guys are in the team, but yeah, that result obviously puts them in contention, you know, it's a massive result.
Shiv?
Again, another expected result, but this doesn't mean that they're the favourites in their group. They could, if they've got Japan and Germany in their group, that's 2 losses. They only got to take 2 L's and then finish third. So that group is, as far as I'm concerned, that's a very competitive group. You don't know who's going to finish first, second, or third at this particular moment in time. That's how I'm looking at it, because anything can happen in the World Cup as we see it.
Let's go straight in to the Portugal game. Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's talk about Portugal's win over Ghana. Big result, bit controversial. Ghana probably deserves something out of the match. Gonna go straight to Shivs on this one. Give me your.
The VARs, the penalty decisions, the refereeing so far has been absolutely abysmal. People will be talking about this for years to come. I think it's disgusting that at this point in footballing competition at such a high level, you're not allowed to have questions for the referee, questions for the flagging, questions for VAR, so on and so forth. I think it's absolutely abysmal. Ghana definitely deserved the point, but obviously politics and nonsense is why Portugal got the win.
They could have nicked a point at the end. I thought Inaki Williams was going to do it.
Yeah.
Looked like it was easier to score, wasn't it? But
yeah.
Hard one to take for Ghana. Joe, what's your take on it?
Yeah, they did nearly get a point at the end, only for that slip, caught the keeper out. It was good, that actually. But yeah, it should have been a draw in all. But I think Ronaldo there again. He's set another record. He's doing what he does. I think he could be like the type of player to do something great in this World Cup and leave that statement there, because it is. You've got Messi, you've got Ronaldo, you've got Mbappe, you've got Neymar, and you've got Harry Kane. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting, like this World Cup. I really do believe that it's for the strikers to shine. Which striker? I don't know who's going to come out the best, but yeah, I'll just wait and see there, like what's going to happen with it.
It's interesting about Cristiano Ronaldo, especially where he stands with his own footballing career at the moment. This is probably the biggest window he's going to get to showcase he's got something left. How much of a motive is that? How much of a fire burner is that for Ronaldo, and how much of an impact will he have at this World Cup? Straight into Johnny on this one.
I think being Ronaldo, James, he's super competitive, so want to do well. The whole situation with the contract, his own contract getting tore up, I think is a bit bizarre, and so he will be looking for a club potentially. But Ronaldo will do his best. Ronaldo will perform. I don't know how far Portugal will go. I don't think they'll win it, to be honest with you. But Ronaldo, I'm sure, will get a few spectacular goals and make himself look good.
Surely he can't do it. Surely he can't do it, can he? Shiv, has he got the power? Will Cristiano Ronaldo be victorious with Portugal? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't think so. But you know, as far as this GOAT conversation, I'm old enough to remember Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, players like that. So I've never really put Messi and Cristiano in that conversation because they've never performed, they've never done it on the national stage. So will either of them get to a semi-final? It's highly unlikely. They might not even get to a. I'm gonna be generous and say they can get to a quarterfinal, but time will tell. This is probably the biggest window though, because obviously he needs a new team for January. Anything's possible. We'll see. We will see. But is Portugal one of the favorites? No. Is Argentina one of the favorites? No.
It's interesting how it's going to play out with Ronaldo. Personal career is well documented. What's going on at the moment? So yeah, like I say, big window, big chance. Anything could happen. I want to touch on Netherlands' win over Senegal. Big result. Shiv, I know you've been a big fan of Netherlands. You've been talking them up a little bit. So give me your take on Netherlands' win over Senegal.
Solid win. You saw we got the tallest goalkeeper in the whole competition. World class performance, and that's his first World Cup performance at that. Like we've got the most solid defense there. Everyone it all came together. Obviously, not as many goals as other teams, but to be honest, Senegal is a very strong team. Let's give them their just due. Senegal is a very, very good team, and the Netherlands delivered. Gakpo is one of the future stars of the footballing world. So a lot of people are not really speaking on at the moment, but because he's a young striker. But don't be surprised if he ends up being one of the top scorers by the end of the competition. Gakpo, one to look out for, definitely.
Are they a real threat, Johnny?
Oh.
Do you see them being dangerous this time around? Have they got enough in them to really get amongst it with the big teams? What's your thoughts?
Well, the Dutch are always a good team, James. You can't doubt they've got quality in most areas, but I don't know, man. They always seem to fall out as well and have spats, don't they, in the training sessions, and then don't seem to make it through to finals and stuff. I don't know. Hard to say with the Dutch. But again, it's a lot of new players. So it's first game. I don't know. Personally, I don't think they'll win it. That's my opinion. But they're obviously going to be running about the contention mark if they keep winning. You know.
Let's go straight into Brazil's win tonight. 2-0. That man Richarlison can't stop scoring for Brazil. He's banging in goals left, right, and centre before the tournament. 7 in 7, I think it is. And now that takes him up to 9 in 8. Not bad numbers for the lad that no one reckons a pick. What we saying? Break it down for me. Shiv, give me your initial reaction to the game.
This guy has to be. Tottenham's not going to be able to keep him. January, he's gone, man. He's gone. There's no way he's staying at Tottenham. Guy's in phenomenal shape. He's just getting him in the back of the net at every opportunity. Brazil's on fire right now. Well-deserved win. One of the obviously big favourites in the whole competition. The flair is back because obviously they've been quiet for a number of years because of politics and whatever else is going on with the Brazilian construct over there. But it seems that they've got their act together. The flair is back. We've got a lot of big players, a lot of new players that they're bringing up as well. So future's bright for Brazil. They could get to the final because of obviously the heat and whatever else. They thrive in these conditions. So I wouldn't be surprised for Brazil to be in the final. Put them up against anyone. They're scoring goals, definitely.
Big point made.
Thoroughly enjoyed the game as well.
Big points made. Richarlison is playing some great football for Brazil. Do you think it's a real worry, like Shiv says? Do you think some big teams might come in for Richarlison? I'm gonna go straight to Johnny on this one.
Hopefully, maybe we might go with that team. No, I'm only joking. No, definitely big teams are coming for him. His quality, that goal he scored tonight was some goal, to be fair. I remember with Everton, I didn't really watch him that much, obviously, you remember hearing about him, but he's a quality player. They will struggle to hold on to him, like that. Especially if he performs really big and maybe could win it for Brazil, do you know what I mean? So he put himself right in the map.
First goal, great team move. Second goal, something special, wasn't it? If someone like Ronaldinho scored that, we'd all be talking about it for years. So, got to give Richarlison his props. It's a great goal, great goal. Joe, give me your thoughts on Brazil. What did you make of their 2-0 win over Serbia? How did you assess that?
Brazil were brilliant. Second half, they stepped up to it. First half, they were not that good, really. But when you're speaking about Richarlison, he steps up for the national team. He does step up for the national side. Does he do a club level up? I don't think he really does, in all honesty. I think he'll be a field 2 move from Tottenham, because he's not. Is he even playing for Tottenham?
Yeah, he gets in,
yeah,
but he doesn't start every game.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So he needs to. I think his concentration will be have a good World Cup, come back and try and get in this Tottenham side in the first 11. Have that continuous, and then you can perform on them and rate him the end of the season with that consistency of games. But he's showing he can score goals. That goal, like you just said there, if that was Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Messi, that's getting talked about for years and years and years and years. The technique with this, especially that bicycle, it's hard to do that. Now, if that, like I'm saying, if that was Ronaldo, the way he rolls Ronaldo with his header and it went wide for Portugal just earlier on, he's shown he's got the athletic athleticism to still get up there and rise and beat the defenders. With Richarlison, they've got good players around him. So, who do you mark? Who do you think you're going to mark? You got your defence going to concentrate on Richarlison. It's Neymar and etc. free. So, yeah, he could do. He'll have a good World Cup, and plus he started as well, because there was talk about him not even getting into the squad. It was either him or Firmino, I believe, and it was Richarlison who got the last call up out of the strikers. So he's been confident with that. He's a confident player. So let's see what he can bring. That bit of samba, what he's done for Everton, and let's see.
So you make some big points there, Joe. Out of all the teams we've seen so far, who do you think would be your favourite to go? Do you know what? They look awesome. I'm going to back them to do really well, potentially win the World Cup. What are you thinking? I'm going to go straight to Shiv. What's your thought, Shiv?
Right now, just on team performance, overall, everything put together, I'm still sticking with a Brazil-Holland final. That's my opinion. Those are two of the strongest, most gelled teams. The way that the manager has them on the field, the tactics, everyone seems to be on the same page. So I feel like that's my chosen final is Holland versus Brazil. Just chiming in on Joseph's last point, you can't really compare world-class Brazil with Tottenham Hotspur. Come on, it's world-class players left and right. It's not the same thing with Tottenham. So, of course, he's going to be performing at a way higher level with Brazil. They're feeding him the ball. World-class players are feeding him the ball, and this is how he's able to position himself and get these remarkable and, sensational goals that people will be talking about in years to come, because it's his time.
Brazil play his style of football as well. You only got to look how defensive Tottenham are. Majority of the time, he's probably not starting as many games as he would like. So, yeah, it's a showpiece. It's a showpiece time. The way the Brazil play, he's going to get a lot of the ball. He's going to get chances. And he looked clinical today, didn't he? Let's be brutally honest. All right, Johnny.
Tottenham's not going to be able to keep him. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Johnny, who's your pick so far? What do you think?
Mate, James, I actually think so far I've been impressed with France, honestly. Like, I watched the French game and I like Mbappe, man. I think he's different class. I'm going to say France. I'm going to go to a limb and say France will win it. Again, just my opinion.
All right. What are you saying, Joe? What are you thinking?
England.
I'm going to...
No, listen, there's no pressure. This is my opinion. This, and I might sound stupid in that, but there's no pressure on this team. There isn't pressure on them. You've seen the way they performed the first game. All right, it's one game, but you look at what Saka done. Now he's took over Phil Foden. He was starting our identity, Phil Foden, Saka. Saka's lived up to the team's got confidence. I do believe, all right, Brazil are the best team. They are my favourite side, but I really do believe England can cause this upset. There'd be motivation from what the girls have done. So they've got that thinking, wait a minute, the girls have won the Euros and that here. Haven't won anything since 1966. Let's try and do something here. I think with they haven't had negativity, if you know what I mean. There hasn't been loads of negativity or nothing about them. So this is just my opinion. I'm going with England.
I love the positivity from Joe. I love that. I love the motivation. I love the motive. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, because it's not. In all honesty, you haven't seen a flag up of the England outside people's houses the way you used to see it of a World Cup. I don't know because it's the season or whatever. And then I don't think there's that pressure on them. Even if they've got rid of the song, you haven't heard nothing of the song or nothing. What's always brought that home. They've got some talent. It's just a defence. Now, Harry Maguire, he stepped up to the plate. You can't say he hasn't, even though he hasn't been playing for Manchester United. So I'm going with England myself.
Harry Maguire's a different player for England than he is for his club. He's a complete.
That's why he got chosen, James. The responsibility he's relied on, and that'll give him confidence that with Gareth Southgate saying to him, even though you haven't been playing, you've been told early, you're going to be starting, Harry. So even though what I've heard and what you haven't been playing, you're going to be starting.
I just want to thank you boys again for taking part in the show today.
Oh, there he is.
Glad we've managed to unfreeze Johnny. I was a bit worried there for a moment. And I just want to say thank you very much for you boys for your time today. It's been a great pleasure to get you on the show. If you're watching this on the visuals, please download the app at Pitch Football. If you're watching this on the YouTube, thank you very much for your time. It's great to have you watching us, and hopefully we catch you on the next episode. Thank you very much.